Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Saturday, March 21st, 2026, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, Cash App, $ ORION NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got some spring training baseball here this Saturday evening between the Chicago Cubs and the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get settled in for some spring training baseball this Saturday evening. Happy Saturday, everyone. And on the left, on the thumb, one of the best players in the game for the Chicago Cubs, it's PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong. And on the right, the best catcher in the game, it's the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Now let's get into the starting lineup here first for the Chicago Cubs. Leading off for the Cubs at third base, Matt Shaw. Batting second, DHing today for Chicago, Moises Ballesteros. Batting third, catching today for the Cubbies, Miguel Amaya. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, right fielder, formerly of the Dodgers and the Giants, now Chicago Cub, Michael Conforto. Batting fifth, playing center field, Kevin Alcantara. Batting sixth, playing left field, formerly of the Baltimore Orioles, Dylan Carlson. Batting seventh, playing first base for Chicago, Jonathan Long. Batting eighth, playing second base, formerly of the Rockies, Owen Miller. And batting ninth, playing shortstop for the Cubbies, Ben Cowles. And on the mound for the Cubs, Colin Ray. And now let's get into the starting lineup for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at third base, Brendan Donovan. Batting second, catching today for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting third, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, first baseman, Josh Naylor. Batting fifth, playing left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting sixth, DHing today, formerly of the Boston Red Sox, Rob Refsnyder. Batting seventh, playing right field tonight for Victor Robles, Luke Raley. Batting eighth, getting a shot to play second base here tonight, Ryan Bliss. And batting ninth, playing shortstop for Seattle, Cole Young. And on the mound for the Mariners, it is Furious George Kirby. We're going to be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on the Dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. 15 subs away from 23,000 or I think, what are we at right now? Let's take a quick peek. Where are we at? So we're 85 subs away from 23,500. So we just broke that 23,400 mark 2 days back. So 85 to go to 23,500. Can't wait to be able to get to that next goal and that next number. And again, shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And not a whole lot of, big news. Obviously they've had a few Mariner commercials that they rolled out on social media. Obviously a lot of the babies, from a lot of the players that were born, recently. But Colt Emerson is not going to make the opening day roster. And again, that may be shocking to a lot of individuals. Could he start for the Mariners? at second base or shortstop? Absolutely he could. But again, they're going to probably make a little bit of a celebration of it. So he'll obviously start with AAA, the Tacoma Rainiers. And then just like Cole Young, depending on injuries or how he's looking, he will get the call up sooner than later. And then obviously social media can make a day of it. I was rooting for Colt to be able to make the opening day roster. We know JP Crawford has got a kind of a mild injury with the shoulder, got a shot put in. So again, they look like they're going to be more than likely going with Cole Young or Leo Rivas, more than likely at shortstop or second base if JP can't go on opening day. But it shouldn't take long for Colt Emerson to be able to make the squad, but he'll get a few reps in for AAA, the Tacoma Rainier affiliate, and hopefully we'll be able to see him on the roster again, like I mentioned, sooner than later. Great to see Cal Raleigh back catching for the Seattle Mariners, and definitely excited to see what we're going to get here tonight. Marine Bean in the building. What's good? Let's put up another 20 spot, baby. Daniel in the building. Miguel in the building. What's good? And again, we don't have too many more televised games. We got today and we got tomorrow against the White Sox, and I'll be here live. Tomorrow's game will be a little bit earlier, around lunchtime, around noon. And then nothing on Monday or Tuesday here on the stream. Wednesday, we'll end up doing the Giants and the Yankees.
I love the fortune teller.
And 1 second here.
New home?
Gotta go through all my buttons here. And then we'll do Yankees and Giants for opening day on Netflix, since that'll be the only game going on. And then obviously as we get to Thursday, that's where everyone is waiting for opening day between the Guardians and the Seattle Mariners at T-Mobile. First pitch by George Kirby to Shaw. Takes a strike looking high and inside. Four-seam fastball, 98 miles an hour by Furious George. 0-1 count. George Kirby on the mound. Matt Shaw for the Cubbies in the box. 0-1 pitch. Low and away with the slider, 88 miles an hour from Kirby to Shaw. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and no out. 0-0 here early in the top of the first. 1-1 pitch, and that one's crushed out of play. Slider 88 miles an hour there by Kirby. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. They're back in Peoria today, but temperatures have been pretty hot, there. And again, everyone is just trying to be able to, get everything, dot your I's, cross your T's, and getting ready for the opening day. Little slow dribbler towards first base. No problem for Josh Naylor. Toe tap on the bag, and that is 1 away. Good defense there by our guy Nails, Josh Naylor. Next up, for the Cubbies in the 2-hole tonight, DHing Moises Ballesteros. First pitch, inside, knuckle curve, 84 miles an hour there by Kirby. And we will see a little bit more out of that knuckle curve out of him this season. And again, I'm definitely excited to see how that develops as we go into 2026. 1-0 pitch to Ballesteros, and he crushes it out of play towards that left field wall. Four-seam fastball, 98 miles an hour by George Kirby. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Ballesteros. Top of the first inning, 0-0 here early at Peoria for spring training between the Cubs and the Mariners. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Changeup missing there by a few inches. 89 miles an hour with that changeup by Kirby. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. 2-1 pitch, hard hit ball into deep center field. And that goes off the wall. Julio ends up throwing it in, but a nice double there from Ballesteros here early in the matchup. Nice job by Moises Ballesteros. I was hoping that wasn't going to be a home run. He hit it pretty deep there. Next up in the 3-hole, catching today for the Cubbies, Miguel Amaya. First pitch from Kirby to Maya. Low and away. Four-seam fastball, 99 miles an hour there by George Kirby. 1-0 count. Top of the first inning, 0-0 here early with a runner at second. Ballesteros with a double off the wall moments ago. Kirby on the mound, Miguel Amaya in the box. 1-0 pitch. And a hard hit ball past third base. Gets past Brendan Donovan. Runner is scampering home. And we have a early 1-0 lead for the Cubbies. Nice RBI single there by Miguel Amaya. Next up, cleanup hitter, formerly of the Giants and the Dodgers last year. Now on Chicago, right fielder Michael Conforto. Hopefully that'll be the only run we give up here in the first. First pitch, big swing and a miss from Conforto. Four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour, high and inside, 0-1 count. Oh-1 pitch, low and into the dirt. Good save there by Cal Raleigh. Great to see him back catching here for the Seattle Mariners. His time obviously done with the WBC. Fun tournament. And again, we'll see that tournament again in a few years. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Conforto. One pitch, in there for a strike to Conforto. 86 mile an hour slider, taking a strike, looking low and in the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. Best case scenario here, slow dribbler right up the middle for a double play, and we get out of this inning with just 1 run scored. One-two pitch, high and inside with a four-seam fastball, 98 miles an hour there by George Kirby. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Michael Conforto. And we pretty much know, where everyone is going to be playing, on opening day besides shortstop and second base. If JP can't go, they have Leo Rivas or Cole Young. And obviously the other individual could play that other spot at second base. So, and a nice infield single there by Michael Conforto. Miguel Amaya scampers to second base. But I assume they'll probably go with Rivas, and they can have, Cole Young play second and Rivas could play short, until JP is ready. But again, it's nice to have enough depth where you don't really have to worry. Next up in the 5-hole, center fielder today, Kevin Alcantara. Top of the first inning, runners at first and second with 1 out. Kirby getting roughed up here slightly early in the top of the first inning. Hard hit ball right up the middle. Here's our double play. Throw to first. Get it, baby. Beautiful. 1 batter after I wanted it, but at least no runner ends up scoring. And you ask for a double play, you get a double play. Alcantara hits into that slow dribbler up the middle. Good defense there by Ryan Bliss and Josh Naylor. And again, giving up 1 run early, not really what you want. But again, we got plenty of time to make up ground. Let's see who's up next here for the Seattle Mariners here in the bottom of the first inning. Leading off for the Mariners at third base, Brendan Donovan, who has been absolutely electric in spring training. Can't wait to see him get going in the beginning of the regular season on Thursday. Batting second, the best catcher in the game, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Great to see you back from the WBC. We missed you. And batting third, the best center fielder in the game, it's J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez. Nice 2-run blast last night. And again, Cole Young with 2 homers, Julio with a 2-run blast, Victor Robles with a 3-run blast, Dominic Canzone with a grand salami. And again, putting up 20 runs against the Guardians last night was great. I don't anticipate that happening here tonight. But again, we're only a few days away from opening day. And again, we want to make sure that, everyone is, getting their reps in. Because again, once Thursday starts to come around, everything is going to count in that win-loss column. Yeah, there was quite a few people, that really weren't doing that well in the WBC. We know Bryce Harper ended up getting that home run late in the final, but he wasn't really, doing up to his standard. Cal Raleigh, didn't get really enough playing time, and then they were really throwing him outside and inside. He didn't really have too many opportunities, right down the middle. And then the opportunities that he did have, he fouled those baseballs off, and no home runs. And we expected a little bit more out of Cal in the WBC, but again, the regular season for the Seattle Mariners, that's what we want. First pitch to Brandon Donovan, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. But it's not like Cal had a billion opportunities and just choked every at bat. Again, if you ended up watching the WBC, they really weren't pitching him down the middle. Big swing and a miss there by Brandon Donovan. No balls and 2 strikes from Ray to Donovan. Bottom of the first inning, Cubbies up early, 1-0. 0-2 pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball missing there, 94 miles an hour by Colin Ray. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. One-two pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brendan Donovan. And again, I'm always watching every little, minute detail, with all of our guys, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. So 2-2 pitch in play, popped up into shallow center field, left field, and it ends up fading into left, and that is 1 away. Donovan flying out to left. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. They probably should have played Cal in that championship game instead of going with Will Smith and back-to-back games. Again, that might have, helped Team USA, beat Venezuela, but again, too late for that. 247 average, 60 home runs, 125 ribbies for Cal. And we don't assume that he'll get 60 this season, but hopefully over 40. And again, I think that would be a good goal. And then if he gets over 50, fantastic. But, over 40 home runs after having a 60 home run season, I think is a good goal to look at. Takes a strike looking on the first pitch, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, crushes that one towards first base, and foul. Splitter 87 miles an hour there by Colin Ray. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Cubs up early, 1-0 here on the Mariners. Let's go, big dumper. O2 pitch, and Cal pops it up a mile, and it ends up going out of play. No balls and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. They pan in on Logan Gilbert. Ichiro is in the house. Nice to be able to, get things kind of settled in with some of the OGs like Ichiro. Hard hit ball there. Little dribbler towards first. And just in time, toe tap on the bag. And that is 2 away. Next up for the Mariners, the best center fielder in the game. It's J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, Julio. Fresh off a 2-run blast last night. Hopefully we'll be able to get something going here early with Julio, and not only here in spring training, but also in the first half of the regular season, which he typically struggles. First pitch, takes a strike. Right down the middle, 0-1 count. Come on, Julio. 0-1 pitch. Hard hit ball. And out of play. No balls and 2 strikes from Ray to Rodriguez. Bottom of the first inning, 1-0. Cubbies with the early lead. Agreed. And again, I think it just really shows you how hard baseball really is. There's going to be times where even the 2 best players on planet Earth, Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, sometimes they don't come up big, in the big moments, whether it be the WBC or the World Series. Again, we expect a lot from these guys, but it really does show you how difficult baseball truly is. 0-2 pitch, hard hit ball and fades into right field. No balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. You always see the comments on social media for guys like Judge and Ohtani, when they don't make the game-winning home run or the game-winning RBI in a clutch moment. But, again, it's about a consistency, and being great. Pitches low and away with the sweeper, 84 miles an hour there by Ray. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. And I think that's why, a lot of us look up to, Ohtani and Judge. It's, the consistency game in and game out. Yeah, it would be nice if they stepped up in those big moments, but the big moments aren't for everyone. 1-2 pitch. And that one is fouled off, out of play. And sometimes it ends up being, a no-name player or a regular player that ends up being a hero in a clutch situation, not necessarily the best players on planet Earth. Bottom of the first, 1-0 Cubs. Nobody on with 2 outs. 1-2 pitch. And that looked close to strike 3 on Julio Rodriguez, but the ump calls a ball there. Looks like it was inside, four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. But robbing that home run from Judge was absolutely phenomenal by Julio in the WBC. I agree. 2-2 pitch, low and away. That would have been strike 3 at the beginning of last year for Julio. And he decides to be able to be a little bit patient there on that sweeper, out of the zone, 84 miles an hour. Now we got a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. 3-2 pitch, fouls it off himself, little foul tip. Count still remains 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. And we want Cal and Julio to be selective in the box, especially when we got a really good leadoff hitter in Brandon Donovan. If we want to be able to score early runs, Donovan can get on base, but we need Cal and Julio, as well as Naylor and Randy, to knock them in. Little slow dribbler towards third base, and that is foul. Count still remains 3 balls, 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Julio in the box and Colin Ray on the mound. Three-two pitch, slow dribbler, and that one goes towards third base and foul. 10 pitches. When's the last time you've seen Julio Rodriguez with a 10-pitch at bat? Not very often. TJ in the building. What's good? This will be pitch 11 to Julio Rodriguez, who had a 2-run blast last night to help us get to 20 against the Guardians. Slow dribbler up the middle, throw to first, and good hustle by Julio, but the toe tap on the bag is in time, and that is out number 3. End of the first inning, 1-0 Cubbies. And if you are just tuning in to the broadcast, Miguel Amaya singled to left. Ballesteros, who had a double off the wall, ended up scoring from second. And Cubs with 3 hits so far and a run. Nothing yet for Seattle. But again, we got plenty of time to make something happen before this one is over. Let's go to the top of the second inning and see who's up next here for the Cubbies. Next up for the Cubbies, formerly of the Baltimore Orioles, playing left field today, Dylan Carlson. Batting second in the 7-hole, first baseman Jonathan Long. And batting third in the 8-hole, second baseman from the Rockies, Owen Miller. And on the mound for the Mariners, it is George Kirby. I'm good. How are you? Just grinding away, getting closer to the regular season. We got the White Sox tomorrow around 12:30. We'll be live for that. Nothing on Monday and Tuesday that's televised. And then Wednesday, we'll end up doing the Giants and the Yankees because that'll be on Netflix. The only game that will be the season opener for the MLB season. And then on Thursday, we'll end up doing the Guardians and Mariners. And then moving forward, it'll be Mariners pretty much every day until we get to football season. And I can't wait. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. And really the only news so far today, besides all of this social media content that the Mariners are dropping with their commercials, Colt Emerson, they decided to send him down to AAA, so he will not make the opening day roster, which is a kind of a damn shame because I think he's good enough to be on the opening day roster, but it'll give him some time to get a few more reps in for the Tacoma Rainiers, and then they can make a social media event out of it like they did with Cole Young, and then, do the photos and the video and, make it kind of a celebration where he calls his family and, make it more of an event. And we obviously have Cole Young and Leo Rivas that can fill in at shortstop and second if JP Crawford can't go on opening day. But again, we will see Colt Emerson on the squad. It's just a matter of time. 0-1 pitch, and that one is fouled off behind the plate. No balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Carlson. Top of the second inning, 1-0 Cubbies. Kirby on the mound, Carlson in the box, Ichiro sitting there in the dugout in full uniform. I fucking love it. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dylan Carlson. It's just awesome to be able to have a Hall of Famer, that is committed, to the team. And it looks like he's got the jersey off because now it's hot. So he's got the warm-up shirt underneath, and I don't blame him. It's like 100 degrees there in Arizona. 1-2 pitch, and he goes around, and down goes Carlson on strikes, and that is 1 away. And then we know Ken Griffey Jr. and Randy Johnson will make, a little bit of time with the squad. We know Edgar is already there. It's just great to be able to see the guys that I grew up watching as a kid still be involved, even though we know Ken Griffey Jr. and Randy Johnson are professional photographers. But when they're available, they definitely make an appearance here and there, which is nice. And Ichiro is there almost every day, which is awesome. Next up is Jonathan Long. First pitch, hard hit ball into right field. And Luke Raley scoops it up, and a nice single there by Long and the Cubbies. Next up in the 8 hole, formerly of the Colorado Rockies, second baseman Owen Miller. First pitch from Kirby, low and away with that slider, 87 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Top of the second inning, 1-0 Chicago. Runner at first with 1 out, Kirby on the mound, Owen Miller in the box. 1-0 pitch, high and away with the sinker. 97 miles an hour there by Kirby. 2 balls and no strikes to Owen Miller. So we know Bryce Miller is a little banged up, as well as J.P. Crawford, but really those are the main 2. And again, we'll eventually see, I would assume, Emerson Hancock first to fill in for Miller if he's not ready. And then obviously we have Leo Rivas and Cole Young that can play shortstop or second base, vice versa. They can play both positions. So it just kind of depends on how they want to be able to go about that. So, maybe putting Cole at second and then having Leo at short. But again, I think that Cole can play shortstop as well. He did it yesterday. He's doing it today. Not a whole lot of difference between playing second and short. Sometimes you got to have a little bit more athletic ability to play shortstop because you got to bounce around and make those, crucial throws to first base. So we'll see what they decide. Either Cole Young or Leo Rivas, more than likely, until JP is ready. 2-1 pitch, low and away. Slider missing, 88 miles an hour by a few inches there by Kirby. 3 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Miller. And the injuries aren't too serious for Miller or JP. JP ended up getting a shot in that shoulder, but there is a chance that he might not be 100% for opening day. 3-1 pitch, high and inside, and Miller is walked. Long scampers to second. And Kirby looking a little shaky, but again, that's kind of, what you would expect in spring training. Not everyone is going to be lights out, and that's why you want to get these reps in spring training, at least get like a game or 2 in right before the regular season, so that way when Kirby does start, he doesn't give up 5 runs in the first inning, and then we get smacked. First pitch from Kirby, low and away with the slider, 89 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Ben Cowell's there in the box. George Kirby on the mound. And we got a mound visit here by Cal, and I think this is a good time to do it. George already gave up a run, in the first inning, had a double off the wall, and then an RBI. Now, obviously, 2 guys on base. And again, you want to make sure you're getting into that rhythm and routine. And, Cal is as good as anybody in baseball, kind of knowing when a catcher, is uncomfortable, or, kind of reeling a little bit, pressing a little bit, and sometimes just taking this quick timeout and having a little quick conversation, on the strategy that they want to go, the rest of this inning sometimes ends up calming the pitcher just enough to be able to either come out unscathed or to give up minimal damage. And best case scenario here, another double play right up the middle, slow dribbler. And hopefully we'll be able to get it here and we'll still be only down 1-0. One 0 pitch. There we go. Right down the middle with the strike. Looks like the meeting so far there with Cal was positive there. Slider 88 miles an hour right down in the middle of the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 1 out. One pitch from Kirby. And another strike. So again, a lot of balls, low and away. Has the mound visit with Cal. Boom, back-to-back strikes. That's exactly what I like to see. Cal's like another manager, that's just playing, with the squad. And he's so valuable to our pitchers, not only starting, but in the pen. Check swing. Did he go? And they say he did not. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Callis. And honestly, that was in the zone for strike 3. If they challenge this, I think it would get overturned, but a little too late now. It was right there in the corner of the strike zone. 2-2 pitch. High and away. 4-seam fastball missing. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 1 out. Come on, George. 3-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, and we get a big punch out. There we go. Nice job, George. And down goes Callis, striking out, swinging. Next up, leadoff hitter, third baseman, Matt Shaw. Kirby on the mound. Matt Shaw in the box. Two outs and 2 on for Kirby to Shaw. First pitch. Check swing with that slider. Did he go? Yes, he did. And it was in the zone there. Same spot that should have been strike 3 earlier for Kirby on that last batter, but it is what it is. Slider 88 miles an hour in the zone. 0-1 count. Top of the second inning. Cubs up 1-0 with runners at first and second and 2 outs. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Beautiful slider there by Kirby. He baited him and he took it. Slider 88 miles an hour there by George Kirby. No balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Let's go, George. Finish strong here. Kirby on the mound. Matt Shaw in the box. 0-2 pitch. High and away. 4-seam fastball missing there. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kirby to Shaw. And if you do have the MLB app, and you open it up on your phone, this is a televised matchup if you want to be able to watch along. 1-2 pitch from Kirby. And that one is fouled out of play. Slider 87 miles an hour there by Kirby. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Top of the second inning, Cubbies up early 1-0 on Seattle, who put up 20 runs last night against the Guardians, and that's who we play on Thursday for opening day. Come on, George. 1-2 pitch. There we go, baby. Big swing and a miss. And again, it shows you how important that mound visit was with Cal. If he doesn't take the mound visit, realistically, we're probably down 3-0 right now. So great job there by George Kirby. Great job by our leader and our guy that we always can count on in the box, as well as behind the plate, Big Dumper. Now let's see who's up next here in the bottom of the second inning. Next up for the Mariners, cleanup hitter, first baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Batting second in left field, Randy Arozarena. And batting third from the Boston Red Sox in the 6th hole today, DHing Rob Refsnyder. And on the mound for the Cubbies will be Colin Ray. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. I love the Mariner commercials. They've been great since the 90s. And again, we're going to start to see a lot of those on Mariners TV as well as on social media as early as this morning. And they'll continue to be pumping those out. And quite a few Mariner players, at least 5, had babies there, last season going into this year as they're showing on the broadcast right now. Logan Gilbert, Josh Naylor, Luke Raley, Emerson Hancock, and J.P. Crawford. So obviously there's going to be extra motivation this year, for those babies to be able to see the Mariners in the World Series. That's the goal, not just to get there, but to win it all. First pitch to Josh Naylor, pops it up into deep left field, and it drops in play. Nice. And Naylor going for 2. Wow, and a little bit of a lazy effort there in left field, and we know that very well with Randy on ground balls, not really hustling, and Cubs not hustling there in left field, and Mariners and Josh Naylor make them pay. Nice job. And that's on Dylan Carlson. That should have only been a single for Naylor, but he said, well, if they're not going to test me, I know I'm a little bit of a big boy, but I can make it. We know that he can steal bags. He was one of the best in MLB at that last year, and Naylor turns a single into a double. Nice job. Next up is Arozarena. Little slow dribbler in front of the pitcher. Throw to first, and that is 1 away. Nothing that Naylor could do there to advance. Work the count next time, Randy. Next up in the 6th hole from the Red Sox, DHing Rob Refsnyder. And he's very good against left-handed pitching. He'll be used situationally. He's not going to play every day, but I do like the pickup. And I think that he will be a positive factor when he gets a chance to play for us. Bottom of the 2nd inning, 1-0 Cubbies. We got Josh Naylor at second. In the box now is Rob Refsnyder. Come on, Rob. And Rob was pretty a good role player for the Red Sox last season. I got a chance to watch quite a few Boston games, and I was impressed, with the limited action that he had. Obviously better against lefties than he is against righties, but again, that's why we brought him in. And then Brad Adam is done with the little mini interview there with Logan Gilbert and Bryce Miller in the dugout. First pitch to Refsnyder, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Colin Ray on the mound, Rob Refsnyder in the box. And obviously with more action that he'll get, we'll be able to use a Mariner photo rather than the previous team photo. 0-1 pitch. And Refsnyder crushes that into right field, out of play. Sinker, 92 miles an hour by Colin Ray. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 1 out. Mariners down by a run, 1-0 in the bottom of the 2nd. 0-2 pitch. He throws to second base wild, and it ends up in right field. And Josh Naylor goes from third all the way home. Big error by Colin Ray. And again, Josh Naylor using his speed, yes, I said it, his speed to go from second to home. And the game is tied 1-1. And again, I get it when you want to try to pick off the runner, but Naylor was already running. And then when he turned around and threw it to second, he threw it high. It ended up going into right field. And then he went from third all the way to home. And we'll get the scoreboard updated here momentarily. Awesome job there by Josh Naylor. We'll take that. There we go. We're knotted up at 1, baby. Sometimes it happens in the craziest ways, right? And we know that being Mariner fans. Sometimes, it's not a home run or a typical regular RBI situation. Pitches outside with a sweeper. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Rob Refsnyder. 2-2 pitch. Crushes that one into right field, out of play. 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour. There by Colin Ray. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Cubbies and Mariners now tied up at 1. After a lazy effort by Dylan Carlson in left field, Naylor took a single to a double, and then we had a wild throw trying to pick off Naylor at second that ended up in right field by Colin Ray, the pitcher, and we have a 1-1 tie ball game. I love it. 2-2 pitch, and they call that strike 3, and we got an ABS challenge here by Refsnyder. Ooh, and it's a ball, baby. I like that. Bring it back, baby. Refsnyder's got a good eye. Call overturned. Nice job, Rob. And now he strikes out looking on the next pitch. But again, at least it went one more pitch after that. Refsnyder strikes out looking after winning the ABS call on the previous strike 3. Probably should have swung at that at-bat there, but, it is what it is. Down goes Refsnyder, and that is 2 away. Still like you, Rob. Next up, filling in for Victor Robles today in right field, Luke Raley. First pitch to Raley. High and away with a cutter, 1-0 count. And Luke didn't really have his timing down for the Mariners in, the 2025 season. He had some minor injuries, but again, I'm hoping that he'll be able to find the rhythm in the first half of the season, and that'll carry over to the second half after the All-Star break. 86-mile-an-hour cutter missing on the first pitch, 1-0 pitch, high and away, 4-seam fastball missing again. 2 balls and no strikes to Luke Raley. Come on, Luke. 2-0 pitch, high and away. Great patience and eye by Luke Raley in this at-bat. 3 balls, no strike from Ray to Raley. Cutter, 4-seam and 4-seam, but all outside. And good job by Luke Raley by not chasing and getting a weak strike. 3-0 pitch. And that's going to be a 4-pitch walk. Wow. Great patience there by Luke Raley. I mean, if that was him last year, that would have been a strikeout. Next up in the 8-hole, playing second base today, Ryan Bliss. Come on, Ryan. Had an injury at the beginning of the season when Victor Robles went down and was out for the year. And obviously he's hungry, to try to prove that he belongs, on the Mariners, or, he'll be in AAA with Colt Emerson trying to work his way up to the team. First pitch in there, takes a strike looking with a cutter, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Ray to Bliss. 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour, low and away missing. 1 ball, 1 strike, runner at first with 2 outs. Bottom of the second, we're knotted up at 1. 1-1 pitch, and Bliss crushes that one out of play. 4-seam fastball, 91 miles an hour by Colin Ray. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ryan Bliss. Roman's in the building. What's good? And I think Bliss is, not really big enough or skilled enough to be, on the roster. To me, he's more of a AAA player. Now if we have injuries, he can come in and, play a game or 2 there as he lines out to center field for out number 3. But, having JP Crawford and Cole Young and Colt Emerson, and Leo Rivas, playing second and short, those are the guys that you want. And then obviously if you have injuries, then, maybe you can give Bliss a shot, but at least he gets a chance to get some reps here tonight. End of the second inning after Bliss lines out to center field. Let's go to the top of the third, and we're knotted up at 1. And if you're just tuning into the broadcast in the top of the first inning, Miguel Amaya singled to left, and Moises Ballesteros ended up scoring 1-0 Cubbies. Josh Naylor moments ago to home on an error by second baseman Owen Miller, as well as the pitcher. And we have Josh Naylor going from first to second on a lazy effort by Dylan Carlson in left field, and from second to home off a wild pitch, and we're knotted up at 1. Let's go to the top of the third inning and see who's up next here for the Cubbies. Next up for the Cubbies, 1-for-1 with a run, a double off the wall in his first at-bat, DHing Moises Ballesteros. Batting second, 1-for-1 with an RBI, catcher Miguel Amaya. And batting third, 1-for-1, former Dodger and Giant, now Chicago Cub, right fielder Michael Conforto. And George Kirby still on the mound for the Seattle Mariners. Hawks in the building, what's good? I've seen a few of them. And again, you know, they obviously have done some of the commercials. There's a few individuals that have put out hype videos, some with the Mariners and some that aren't affiliated with the Mariners on social media, whether you're on Facebook, X, or Instagram. And again, it's very exciting. You know, we're only a few days away. I will be doing the game tomorrow, which will be televised against the White Sox around lunchtime. Nothing on Monday or Tuesday that's televised. Wednesday, we'll do the Giants and Yankees on Netflix, just because that's the only game and that's the season debut of the season. And then on Thursday, moving forward, it'll be Mariners all day, every day. 0-1 pitch, fouled off there by Moises Ballesteros towards the left field wall. No balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Ballesteros. Yeah, and again, you got Logan Gilbert, you know, with the baby. Josh Naylor, obviously him and his wife are very private, so the baby wasn't shown. A lot of people assume that he was holding some custom Jordan cleats underneath, because that was the only baby that you couldn't visually see. And I don't mind that. You know, some people are extremely private. They don't want to expose, you know, certain family members, you know, and just want to keep it professional in baseball. But, you know, you got Emerson Hancock and J.P. Crawford and Logan Gilbert, Josh Naylor, you know, quite a few of the guys with babies, 5 of them so far from last season. Slow dribbler towards first. No problem for Nails. Josh Naylor, toe tap on the bag, and down goes Ballesteros, and that is 1 away. But nice to be able to see all the new dads. You know, again, they'll have extra motivation this year, you know, for their babies to be able to see the Mariners, you know, on a deep run and hopefully in the World Series this year. And they're going to be pumping out more of those commercials and social media posts as we move forward to the season. First pitch to Miguel Amaya. Crushes it deep to center field. And Luke Raley is there as it fades into shallow right field, and that is 2 away. Good defense there by Luke Raley. I think a majority of Mariner fans, if you are, you know, a fanatic, you know, you're following them on Facebook, X, and Instagram. So anytime, you know, they post something new, it's going to pop up on your feed or on your phone. So I'm always refreshing and looking at everything that's going down. Next up is Michael Conforto. First pitch, change up, high and away, 88 miles an hour there by Kirby, missing by an inch, 1-0 count. Top of the third inning, we're knotted up at 1, nobody on, and 2 outs. 1-0 pitch, another change up there by Kirby, high and away, 88 miles an hour there by George. 2 balls and no strikes to Michael Conforto. 2-0 pitch. Four-seam fastball, crushed foul towards third base. 2 balls and 1 strike to Michael Conforto. And besides the commercial that came out that showed, you know, a lot of the Mariner players with newborns, you know, from obviously last season going into this year, Colt Emerson is going to start this season on AAA on the Tacoma Rainiers, which makes a lot of us a little sad that he didn't make the opening day roster, but it'll give him time to work on his reps. And then just like Cole Young, you know, they'll be able to make a social media event out of it, and when he's calling his parents, and it'll be emotional and he'll get the call up. And again, is he good enough to start on this team right now? Absolutely. You know, but again, you know, they feel that they have enough with Cole Young, Leo Ribas, and obviously J.P. Crawford, still with the minor injury to the shoulder. We'll see where that goes. Slow dribbler. Donovan is there. Throw to first. to Josh Naylor, and that is out number 3. Down goes Michael Conforto on that slow dribbler to third. And let's go to the bottom of the third inning and see who's up next here for our Seattle Mariners. But I would assume it won't take long for Colt Emerson to be on the squad. I would assume the longest it would take would be 2 months. And I would assume at the very latest, by May, he'll be on the team. But, who knows? It could be as early as April, maybe as late as June, I guess, depending on how everyone else is playing and as well as how he's developing for the Tacoma Rainiers. But he definitely is an asset. He had a great spring training with Cole Young. And I want to see Cole and Colt play together. And I know I'm not the only one. And speaking of Cole, next up, here in the bottom of the third inning, 9-hole hitter who can play shortstop or second base, had 2 home runs yesterday, and this is the guy that's probably played the best out of any player in spring training, besides Brendan Donovan, Cole Young. Batting second, 0 for 1, third baseman, Brendan Donovan. And batting third, welcome back from the WBC, big dumper catcher, Cal Raleigh. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Super excited about opening day, but, I'm enjoying, the spring training games. Obviously, we know we got March Madness going on, but basketball isn't for everyone unless you're doing a bracket or you got money on some of the games, for parlays and whatnot. But, even if it's spring training, when you have as much love and dedication to your favorite team, it doesn't really matter to me. Obviously, it's not going to count on the win column or the loss column, but you want to see guys get better. You want to see guys get reps. And especially with the WBC, we had 90% of our good players that weren't available. So we want to make sure we're getting, a few games, late before we get into the regular season to get a little bit of, chemistry and continuity before we play the Guardians on opening day. First pitch from Ray to Cole Young, high and away. Curveball, 77 miles an hour missing, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away with a curve, 78 miles an hour there by Colin Ray. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cole Young. 1-1 pitch, hard hit ball into left field, and a beautiful single there. And obviously the electricity is continuing to stay with Cole Young. Great job, Cole. A massive improvement from Cole Young from last year to this year. Next up, third baseman, Brendan Donovan. See if we can get an RBI or a home run here by Brendan. And he's already had a few games where he's been able to go 4 for 4 or, 3 for 5, 4 for 6. And again, that's exactly what you want to see. And Ichiro is in the house, and I honestly feel he'll be the best leadoff hitter the Mariners have had since Ichiro. No disrespect to J.P. Crawford, Randy Arosarena, Victor Robles, D. Gordon, and a few others that we've had in the past, but I really like Donovan. First pitch is outside, sweeper, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. Probably should have been a ball there. 1 ball and 1 strike to Brendan Donovan. He's got great patience in the box, but has power to hit home runs. Throw to first, and he is out. Damn it. And Cole Young gets caught, kind of leaning a little bit too hard towards second base. Slides back into first, but not in time. And that is 1 away. Got to be better, Cole. Slipped a little bit there as he saw the throw to first, and a nice throw there by Colin Ray to be able to get him out at first base. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Splitter missing there. 2 balls and 1 strike to Brendan Donovan. Two 2-1 pitch from Ray. And a hard hit ball fading out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brendan Donovan. Come on, Donovan. Two-two pitch. Popped up. Shallow center field, fading to left field. And that is 2 away. Next up for the Mariners, it's the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. A little bit of an underwhelming WBC. They didn't really pitch him down the middle. Didn't really get enough reps. We expected a little bit more, out of the best catcher in the game. But again, having a monster season of 60 home runs, realistically, he's not going to do it again. First pitch, big swing and a miss on the splitter, 87 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. But I think it's fair to say he should be able to hit over 40. It would be great if he can hit over 50. But again, when you end up having a special year like you did last season, to be able to replicate that would be amazing. And you just never know. It just really depends on how fast of a start he gets in the first half of the season, home run wise. 1-1 pitch, high and inside with a sweeper. 2 balls and 1 strike to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. Cal Raleigh in the box. Colin Ray on the mound. Come on, big dumper. 2-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. 4-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And I imagine there's a lot of pressure, on Cal. He might start a little slow to, start the year, considering on how great he was last season. There's a lot on his shoulders coming into this year. 2-2 pitch, pops it up a mile. And we got 5 players going for it, and he drops it. Wow. There we go. And that's what happens when you have 4 or 5 guys going after a ball. Cal has his hands on his hips, cracks a smile, and we'll take that. Next up, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Cal Raleigh getting a double off of that. Should have been a routine out number 3, but we'll take it. Come on, Julio. Let's see if we get an RBI or a home run here. First pitch to Julio. Big swing and a miss off that cutter by Colin Ray. 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch to Julio. Hard hit ball into center field. Drop, baby. Oh, what a diving grab. Unbelievable. Uh-oh, and he throws up the no-fly zone. Wow. That's hilarious. And Kevin Alcantara throwing up the no-fly zone Julio Rodriguez moniker after making that diving catch on Julio Rodriguez. That's the end of the 3rd inning. Let's go to the top of the 4th. We leave Cal stranded at 2nd, and let's see who's up next here for the Cubbies in the top of the 4th. Great defense there by Kevin Alcantara. And speaking of, next up, 0 for 1 in the 5-hole center fielder. And when's the best time to be able to make a big play after you make a play defensively? And we'll see what happens here for Kevin. So far, he is 0 for 1. Next up, batting 6th, 0 for 1, left fielder with a K, Dylan Carlson. And batting 3rd, 1 for 1 in the 7-hole, first baseman, Jonathan Long. And on the mound for the Mariners still will be George Kirby. All right, we're at 25 likes already. Good start. 25 more to go to get to 50. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. All right, baby, here we go. Top of the fourth inning, we're knotted up at 1. A little bit different of a game that we saw where we absolutely crushed the Guardians last night, putting up 20. Knew that it would be a little bit lower scoring, but we still have a chance to be able to pull off this victory. Kevin Seitzer, second season as the Mariners hitting coach with Edgar Martinez on the mic. Great to be able to see Seitzer do his magic with our players. First pitch is low and away with a slider, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, splitter, big swing and a miss by Kevin Alcantara. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Alcantara. Top of the fourth inning, knotted up at 1 with nobody on and no outs. 1-1 pitch, four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour right down the middle for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the fourth, we're knotted up at 1. Kirby on the mound, Kevin Alcantara in the box. We actually made a beautiful diving grab on Julio's pop fly into center field and threw up the celebration afterwards. Julio cracked a smile. And Alcantara with a deep hit into right field. Wow! Luke Raley. Unbelievable catch in right field. Full extension. Unbelievable. Even George Kirby can't believe it. Oh my. Luke Raley filling in for Victor Robles in right field and making a hell of a grab. And again, if he doesn't make that grab, that's a double, maybe triple. Unbelievable. Nice job, Luke. Next up, left fielder from the Orioles and now a Cub, Dylan Carlson. First pitch, knuckle curve by Kirby to Carlson. 1-0 count. Missing by an inch or two, low and away. 1-0 pitch. Check swing, did he go? He did not with the changeup. 2 balls and no strikes from Kirby to Carlson. I love seeing great defensive plays, regardless if it's spring training or the regular season. 2-0 pitch from Kirby. Hard hit ball, shallow center field, and not enough time for Julio to get there, and that'll be a single for Dylan Carlson. Next up in the 7-hole, first baseman Jonathan Long, who is 1 for 1 so far today. And Kirby giving up a run in the first inning, but has been clean since. First pitch to Jonathan Long with the slider, low and away, 1-0 count. 55 pitches so far for George Kirby. We'll see how much longer they'll have him pitch. I'm not sure if this will be his last inning, but we will find out momentarily. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 1-0 pitch, sinker. There by Kirby, right down the middle, takes a strike looking, 95 miles an hour. Nice pitch there by George. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Jonathan Long. 1-1 pitch, hard hit ball, deep right field. Luke Raley is there. There we go. Nice job by Luke. And he looks definitely a lot sharper defensively. That was one of the knocks on him that, every once in a while, he was kind of getting lost out there in the box as well as defensively in right field. But today looking pretty good, and that is 2 away. Next up for the Cubbies, formerly of the Colorado Rockies in the 8-hole, a walk in his first at-bat, second baseman Owen Miller. First pitch with a sinker, 96 miles an hour by George Kirby, in there for a strike, 0-1 count. And we got the White Sox tomorrow, and that will be televised, so I will be live for that. Nothing on Monday or Tuesday. Wednesday, we'll do the MLB season opener on Netflix, Giants and Yankees. Looking forward to seeing Aaron Judge and see what he does. And then we got Mariners and Guardians on Thursday, and Mariners pretty much every day until we get to fall, until NFL and college football season. Can't wait. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss by Owen Miller. Change up 88 miles an hour, nasty by George. No balls and 2 strikes to Owen Miller. Punch him out, George. Let's go. 0-2 pitch from Kirby. High and away. And Cal does a little fake throw to first to keep the runner honest out there. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. One-two pitch. Big swing and a miss, and a nice punch out there by Kirby. After giving up a run in the first, he's been clean. Nice job by Furious George. Let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning and see who's up next for the Seattle Mariners. Next up for the Seattle Mariners in the cleanup spot, 1-for-1 with a run, it's Nails Josh Naylor. Batting second, 0-for-1 in the 5-hole, left fielder Randy Arozarena. And batting third, 0-for-1 with a K, coming over from the Boston Red Sox, DHing in the 6-hole for Seattle, Rob Refsnyder. One run, 5 hits, and an error for the Cubbies. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for the Mariners. And if you're just tuning in the top of the 1st inning, Miguel Amaya singled to the left after Ballesteros had a double off the wall, 1-0 Cubs. And then to the bottom of the 2nd, Josh Naylor ended up scoring from second base off a throwing error by the pitcher and Owen Miller, and that made it 1-1, and that's where we sit right now in the bottom of the 4th inning. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And tomorrow's game here on the stream will be against the White Sox. And it'll be Brian Wu on the mound versus Burke. And it looks like they actually moved the time based off the heat. So that will be on at 6 o'clock Pacific. So that's great. And Josh Naylor with a nice hard hit ball into right field. And Naylor is hot. Let's go. Nice job by Naylor. Originally, the game was going to be on around noon, 12:30, but since we have the heat wave there in Goodyear and Peoria, they decided to make it, a 6 o'clock, 6:05, 6:10 start, 3 days in a row. And I love that. That'll give more of an opportunity, for baseball fans and Mariner fans to come through at 6 p.m. tomorrow rather than at noon. So I love that. Tank in the building. What's good? Josh Naylor with a single to right field. Next up is Randy Arozarena. First pitch, low and away with the slider, 86 miles an hour by Colin Ray. Runner at first with no outs. We're knotted up at 1 here in the bottom of the 4th. Let's go, Randy. And Ray throw to first to keep Josh Naylor honest, and he is safe. We did get Cole Young thrown out at first where he slipped trying to go back to first base. So got to make sure that we're making the most of every opportunity. 1-0 pitch, low and away, but called strike there by the ump. Sinker in the zone, 93 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. And you want to make sure you have good habits, going in since we have the season opener on Thursday. Dank with a 5er. Appreciate you. Big swing and a miss by Randy Arozarena. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ray to Arozarena. Appreciate you, Dank. Stacks. Racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 5 on the Dono train. 95 to go to hit the goal. Right ends up. Go M's. And I appreciate that. Every dollar is going to count. I got a vet visit for Paisley that's $440. So, again, anything that can help go towards, being able to cover that is greatly appreciated. Tank puts us at 5, 95 to go. 1-2 pitch from Ray to Randy, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arosarena. Two pitch. Good eye by Randy, low and at the knees. Sinker, 92 miles an hour by Colin Ray. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with the runner at first and no outs. Bottom of the 4th inning, we're knotted up at 1 here with the Cubbies. 3-2 pitch. And Randy gets a piece. Fouls that one off. Count still full. 3 balls, 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs. Three-two pitch. Big swing and a miss, and down goes Randy swinging. And that is 1 away to 2 away. Next up for the Mariners, formerly of the Red Sox, DHing in the 6th hole, Rob Refsnyder. Come on, Rob. First pitch to Refsnyder. Takes a strike looking with a slider, 86 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Bottom of the 4th inning, knotted up at 1 with a runner at first. Josh Naylor with 1 out. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss on a 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour by Colin Ray. No balls and 2 strikes from Ray to Refsnyder. Come on, Rob. It's good that Refsnyder's getting a little bit of some, quality reps. He's not going to be an everyday starter, only against typically lefties. Pitches inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ray to Refsnyder. But going against a righty here today, we'll definitely challenge him. Definitely not as good of a hitter against righties compared to lefties, at least from last season with Boston. And, he's going to have to be able to work hard, to be able to get those numbers up. 1-2 pitch from Ray. Check swing. Did he go? And does not go around. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Rob Refsnyder. Two-two pitch, low and away. Good eye there by Rob. Sinker, 93 miles an hour by Colin Ray. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Rob Refsnyder. Cubs are challenging. And the Cubs lose the challenge. Colin Ray on the mound. Rob Refsnyder in the box for the Mariners. Throw to first. And Naylor is safe. Can't have 2 guys get thrown out in a game. We already got 1 with Cole Young getting thrown out at the first. Can't have Naylor get thrown out. Come on, Rob. 3-2 pitch from Ray. And Naylor goes, and it is safe. Another stolen bag for Josh Naylor. Nice job, Nails. He's got great timing on stealing bags, let me tell you. Down goes Refsnyder, or Refsnyder ends up getting walked on that last pitch after Naylor ended up stealing the bag. So now we got runners at first and second. Naylor at second, Refsnyder at first. And next up is Luke Raley. Wasn't too sure if they were going to give him the strike 3 call or the walk, but it looks like Refsnyder got the walk. And Raley on the first pitch, crushes it towards right field, out of play, 0-1 count. Splitter 87 miles an hour there by Colin Ray. Ray on the mound, Luke Raley in the box. Let's go, Luke. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking with that splitter from Ray right down the middle, 87 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 1 out. We're knotted up at 1, and we are threatening here with Luke Raley in the box. Come on, Luke. 0-2 pitch. And that is strike 3 looking. Down goes Luke Raley. And that is 2 away. Got a swing, Luke. Next up for the Mariners in the 8-hole, second baseman today, Ryan Bliss. First pitch to Bliss, fouls it off behind the plate, 0-1 count. Come on, Ryan. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 0-1 pitch from Ray. Big swing and a miss by Ryan Bliss. 4-seam fastball, 93 mile an hour, high heat by Colin Ray. No balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning, tied at 1. Can we end up taking the lead with a RBI by Bliss? Let's find out. Come on, Ryan. 0-2 pitch, high and inside. 4-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour by Colin Ray. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ryan Bliss. Cool kid in the building. What's good, brother? One, 2 pitch. And just gets a piece of that one. A little foul tip. Count still remains 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Colin Ray on the mound. Ryan Bliss in the box. Come on, Ryan. Dig deep here. Time is called by Bliss. Gets back into the box here. I mean, Bliss is more likely to strike out than get a hit, but you never know. 1-2 pitch. Low and away. Good stop by the catcher there. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Ray to Bliss. And Bliss gets a little bit of a piece there. And again, tomorrow at 6:05, we got another telecast that's broadcasted, and we'll get Brian Wu on the mound. And obviously, you know, if Wu was going to be the opening day starter, then this would probably be Gilbert or one of the other pitchers. But, you know, excited to see Wu tomorrow. 2-2 pitch. And a foul tip there by Bliss. And then it ends up going off the chest of the ump. Hopefully he's okay. Looks like the bicep is healed pretty nicely for Bliss. Two-two pitch. Big swing and a miss, and down goes Ryan Bliss. And the Mariners leave 2 stranded, unfortunately. Let's go to the top of the 5th inning and see who's up next for the Cubbies. All right, next up for the Cubbies, 0 for 1 with a K in the 9-hole, shortstop Ben Coles. Batting second, 0 for 2 with a K, third baseman, leadoff hitter Matt Shaw. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a double off the wall in the first inning and a run, Moises Ballesteros. And let's see if George Kirby will still be on the mound or if they'll make a change. And it looks like Kirby will still be going. 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, and 4 Ks. Gave up a run in the first inning, but has been clean since then, even though he's given up 5 hits. Gained a sub since the last commercial break. 84 subs to go to be able to get to 23,500. Oh, 1 pitch. After that knuckle curve got fouled off there by Coles. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Coles. Top of the 5th inning, we're knotted up at 1 here at Peoria. 1-1 pitch, popped up a mile. It's in shallow left field. Randy is there, and that is 1 away. And we don't got to worry about Randy Arosarena with pop-ups. It's only ground balls. A good defense there by Randy. Down goes Ben Coles, and that is 1 away. Next up, third baseman, Matt Shaw. Kirby on the mound. Matt Shaw in the box. 0 for 2 with a K so far for Matt. First pitch, high and inside. Shaw has to jump out of the way. Knuckle curve gets away from Kirby there. 82 miles an hour, high and inside. 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, hard hit ball, gets past Kirby and Bliss, rolls to Julio Rodriguez, and a nice single there by Matt Shaw right up the middle. Come on, George, settle in. Next up for George Kirby, in the 2-hole, DHing Moises Ballesteros. First pitch to Ballesteros, low and away. Knuckle curve missing by Kirby. 82 miles an hour, 1-0 count. And we need to be better than 13th, and 9th. 13th overall, 13th ranked for ERA as starters, and 9th in the bullpen. We have enough talent, to be, in the top 5. But obviously, if you remember, the reason why we were 13th, and 9th is because 4 out of the 5 starters were hurt, and we had to float around with Emerson Hancock and Logan Evans for a while, and missed quite a bit of time. George Kirby the first few months, Gilbert missed a couple months, Wu at the end of the year, Miller got a little banged up as well. A throw to second by Cal Raleigh, and they say safe. Nice stolen bag there by the Cubbies and Matt Shaw. Looks like there's not going to be any challenge with that. Let's take a look at the replay here. Yep, does get into the bag with his hand just in time. Nice stolen bag there by Matt Shaw. Hard hit ball by Moises Ballesteros, and it goes out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Ballesteros. Yeah, there's a lot of people on the channel like you that live in Canada that root for both. it's kind of like a common thing where, people are rooting for the Blue Jays and the Mariners, and there might be one team that they like slightly more than the other. But we have quite a few fans in the last couple years that have mentioned something similar, that they live in Canada and, they root for both. Obviously, when they go against each other, you got to choose one, and whatnot. But we'll see what happens this season. I think the Blue Jays are going to be good. They do have some injuries to their pitching staff, though. They got 3 major injuries out of their 6 starters. So it'll be interesting to see if they start a little slow, at least pitching-wise. But we know hitting-wise, they should be fantastic. And that ends up being a walk to Ballesteros there. Now runners at first and second with 1 out. Next up is catcher Miguel Avila. And Davila is warming up in the pen for Kirby. So I imagine this will be the last inning for George. And we got a mound visit here by Cal Raleigh and Brendan Donovan. Miguel Amaya, 1 for 2 with an RBI. We're tied here at 1, but we got runners at first and second with 1 out. And we need a slow dribbler up the middle for a double play to get out of the inning to make sure that we keep this game at 1-1 if possible. Hopefully this will settle down George like it did in the second inning, where he was starting to get a little bit roughed up. And Cal came out and had some good words of encouragement, and he was able to settle in and not have anybody come home. Same situation here in the top of the 5th for George. Hard hit ball. Throw to second. Double play. Throw to first. Got him. Let's go. And another double play after a mound visit from Cal Raleigh. And just when they're threatening to score, we end up getting the double play. You ask for the double play, you get the double play. Nice job, Mariners. There we go. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th and see who's up next for Seattle. And again, 2 clutch double plays by the Mariner defense after they had 2 guys ready to come home. And we leave both of those guys stranded in both of those innings, in the 2nd as well as in the 5th. Great job, Seattle. I love double plays, baby. Now, I have quite a few ESP moments, throughout the broadcast. I've been doing this for 14 years. This is my 10th year on YouTube. I've been watching the Mariners since the mid-'80s. So, sometimes, it's something that you wish for to happen, but sometimes you have a feeling that it's going to happen. And great job by the Mariner defense, making me look good here on the broadcast with another double play to end the inning. Next up here in the bottom of the 5th, in the 9-hole, shortstop Cole Young. Batting second, 0 for 2, third baseman stud Brendan Donovan. And batting third, 1 for 2, the best catcher in the game, big dumper Cal Raleigh. All right, Mariners, we need a little good luck. We got the Mariner Ken Griffey Jr. rookie bauble. We got the Trident. We're ready. A little bit different type of a game, a little bit more defensive oriented instead of the, crazy amount of home runs and hits total that we had against the Guardians yesterday, putting up 20. But Snyder is coming in here for Ray, and next up is Cole Young. Colin Snyder. First pitch in there to Cole Young, 0-1 count. Cole Young, hard hit ball into right field, and that is 1 away. He's really seeing the ball on another level this season. Next up is Brendan Donovan. And Colin Snyder, obviously on the Cubs now, but was on the Mariners a couple years ago. First pitch to Brendan Donovan from Colin Snyder, the former Mariner. Slurve ball, slider curve. And again, we haven't seen too many slurve balls here in spring training. But again, you will see them from time to time. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Snyder to Donovan. This time around with a cutter, 84 miles an hour by Colin Snyder, the former Mariner. 1 ball and 1 strike to Brendan Donovan, our new leadoff hitter. And he's going to make a huge impact for this team in 2026. One pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Brendan Donovan. 2-1 pitch. And hits a laser towards first base, but it ends up being foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Colin Snyder to Brendan Donovan. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 2-2 pitch from Snyder. Low and away. Great eye and patience by Brendan Donovan. And that's something that was lacking, as far as leadoff hitters for the Mariners last year and the year before. No disrespect to J.P. Crawford, or Randy Arosarena or Victor Robles, but Donovan gives us a better chance to manufacture runs as our leadoff hitter. Ends up striking out on the slurve ball, and that's all right. Down goes Brendan Donovan. Next up, with 2 outs, here in the bottom of the 5th, the best catcher in the game, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. First pitch inside to Cal Raleigh, 1-0 count. Let's go, Cal. Had a double in the 3rd inning after an error there by Chicago. Pops that one up on a 1-0 count, and it is in foul territory and dropped. Wow. Cal is getting extremely lucky. In both of his at-bats, he should have been out with a pop-up, into shallow center field, and that time in foul territory. But I guess luck is on Cal's side, and he gets to, have another swing at it here in the box as everyone is chuckling there in the dugout. Got to make those plays in foul territory. Bottom of the 5th with nobody on and 2 outs. We're knotted up at 1. Colin Snyder, the former Mariner, on the mound. Cal Raleigh in the box. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss by Cal. 1 ball and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour by Colin Snyder. One-two pitch, and hits a laser towards first base, out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. Struggled a little bit in the WBC. He wasn't the only one. There was quite a few. Bryce Harper, Cal Raleigh, and a few others, but this will give him a chance to start to get a little bit into a rhythm for a few games before we get into the regular season against the Guardians on Thursday. Little foul tip there by Raleigh. Count still remains 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. We see Colin Snyder with the slurve ball again, slider curve combo. Not a lot of pitchers throw it, but it definitely is something that is on the rise within the last 2 years in MLB. 1-2 pitch to Cal, and a hard hit ball, line drive, throw to first. And that is out number 3. Let's go to the top of the 6th inning and see who's up next here for the Cubbies. Next up for the Cubbies, cleanup hitter in right field, formerly of the Giants and the Dodgers, now on the Cubs. That's a hell of a swing to go to those three amazing teams. 1 for 2, right fielder Michael Conforto. Batting second, 0 for 2, center fielder in the 5-hole, Kevin Alcantara. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a K, formerly of the Baltimore Orioles, now on the Cubs, left fielder in the 6-hole, Dylan Carlson. And I assume George Kirby's day is done, and we're going to be bringing in someone else. I assume he's, let's see what the stat line is for George. 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 4 Ks, ERA of 3.86. But I'm looking to see if there is an update, but maybe he'll go for 1 more inning. Man, there's going to be a lot of amazing food. You know, some old school favorites, you know, if you go to T-Mobile and you go to games, but man, they got a brand new menu for quite a few items, you know, not just desserts, you know, but a lot of different, you know, lunch, dinner options. I can't wait. I'll be there on the 4th of July, and that'll be probably the only game I go to, but it is against the Blue Jays, so I'm excited for that. And Rivas is in. Bliss moves to shortstop. And we still got George Kirby on the mound for at least a few more pitches here. First pitch to Michael Conforto in there for a strike. 0-1 count. Fouls off that first pitch. Michael Conforto. 0-1 pitch. High and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Michael Conforto. 1-1 pitch with the knuckle curve. And takes a strike looking. Nice pitch there by Kirby. Definitely experimenting with the knuckle curve here in spring training. Cubs with the challenge, but I think they're going to lose that. Wow, they call it a ball. Wow. All right, Chicago wins the challenge. Two balls and 1 strike instead of 1 ball and 2 strikes after that challenge. And it's nice that ABS doesn't really slow the game down. And it's nice to be able to have a few of those. Keep the umps honest. 2-1 pitch. High and away. 3 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Conforto. 3-1 pitch from Kirby. And that's crushed foul. Out of play. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. There by Furious George. Top of the 6th inning, 1-1, Cubbies and Mariners. George gave up an RBI in the first and has been clean since. Has given up a few hits, but again, no big home runs, and that's what we like to see. And not a lot of walks either. 3-2 pitch, and a hard hit ball towards first base. Josh Naylor is there, flips it to George, and that is 1 away. Great defense by the Mariners. Next up for George Kirby. 5-hole hitter for the Cubbies today, center fielder Kevin Alcantara. All right, looks like we're going to have a pitching change. All right, George Kirby is done. All right, Gabe Spire coming in. All right. And hopefully this is the good Gabe, you know, and again, for the Pat McAfee lookalike, you know, sometimes he'll get a strikeout, next batter gives up a home run, and he did that twice in the WBC, and that's kind of his, I don't want to say his MO, you know, but sometimes when he's a little shaky, he might be able to get an out or two, but then ends up maybe being a little overconfident with some of his skill set. going right down the middle, trying to challenge the hitter, and a lot of times he ends up losing that battle. Hopefully he doesn't end up getting a strikeout on Alcantara and then give up a home run to Dylan Carlson. Let's go, Gabe Spire. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Top of the 6th inning. We're knotted up at 1. Cubs and Mariners. Gabe Spire coming in for George Kirby. And hopefully we'll end up getting the good Gabe here tonight. .1 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, 79 pitches, and first pitch strikes 12 for 22, which is a little lower, than normal for George. But again, he didn't give up a bunch of home runs. We're tied at 1, so he still put us in a position to try to win this game against the Cubbies. First pitch from Spire to Alcantara, low and at the knees, almost hits him. Slider 84 miles an hour, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, and that's a foul ball there by Alcantara towards third base. 1 ball and 1 strike from Spire to Alcantara. Back-to-back sliders, 85 miles an hour by Spire, and hopefully this will be the good Gabe. We don't want to give up any big home runs. One pitch, and a hard hit ball right up the middle. Good defense there by Leo Rivas. Yes, sir. What a leaping grab by Leo. And that is 2 away. Alcantara lines out to Leo Rivas. I love that. Next up is Dylan Carlson. Cal with a Mariners challenge here. And we lose the challenge by an inch or a millimeter. 1-0 count. Top of the 6th inning, 1-1, Cubbies and Mariners. Gabe Spire on the mound. Dylan Carlson in the box. 1-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss there by Carlson. 1 ball and 1 strike. With nobody on and 2 outs. We're knotted up at 1 here in the top of the 6th. One pitch from Spire. Pitch is inside. Low and at the knees. Four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour by Spire. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 2 outs. Come on, Gabe. Get this out. 2-1 pitch. And a hard hit ball. Deep into left field, back. See ya! And Gabe does it again. What did I say? He ends up getting 1 out, and he gives up a home run. He did that twice in the WBC, and he does it here again. And that's my problem with Gabe Spire. For a guy that, is a lefty like Jose Ferrer, that's nice to have lefties when they're good. But when you can't really trust a guy, when Gabe used to be one of the best guys in the pen, Brash and Bizzardo are much better. And again, he challenges hitters way too much. Another ESP moment. And again, I wish I was wrong about some of these things, but when you watch these players as closely as I do, I can already kind of tell when good things are going to happen or when bad things are going to happen. And then the next pitch goes to Jonathan Long, and he gives up another single right there. Golly, 2-1 Cubbies. I mean, again, I watch every single situation, with Gabe Spire. And again, he would get an out, gave up a home run in the WBC. Then a couple games later, he would get an out and then gave up a home run in the WBC. What happens here? He gets 1 out, gives up a home run, in the spring training game. It's like a continuous bad pattern for Gabe Spire, and he better fix that shit as we go into the regular season. And another base knock. After giving up the home run, another 2 singles there. And now we got runners on the corners at first and third. We should have just stuck with George Kirby if we knew we were going to get this version of Gabe Spire. And I get it, it's spring training, you know, and again, it's not going to count in the win column or the loss column. But again, you want your guys to look good as we have the regular season just a few days away. And I'm a little nervous about Gabe Spire, you know, coming in. Bad Gabe. Andrea in the building, what's good? I mean, those are the type of situations where I have like ESP moments and I'm praying that I'm wrong. You know, I don't want to be right on everything, you know, especially if it ends up being something negative to the Mariners. But, you know, Gabe continues to do the same fucking shit, you know, and again, I don't trust him. I don't trust Jose Ferrer either. I don't trust Carlos Vargas. I mean, really, the only ones I can trust is Bizardo and Brash. And even Brash, sometimes I don't trust. First pitch from Spire to Coles. Takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Runners on the corners at first and third after giving up a home run to Dylan Carlson. 1-1 pitch. Low and at the knees. And I don't know what it is about lefties. You know, I mean, unless it's like a guy like Randy Johnson or like Sandy Koufax that, you know, intimidates those guys and, you know, goes right down the middle and has good control. But it just feels like a lot of lefties are out of control. They just can't hit the zone. I mean, unless we're talking about like Scooball, you know, and even the Mariners know how to rough him up. We were probably the only team that knew how to rough him up and whatnot. But got to be able to have a little bit more control in the box. Top of the 6th. Now the Mariners are down 2-1 with runners on the corners, first and third with 2 outs. Gabe Spire is looking like shit coming in here for Kirby. 2-2 pitch, gets a little foul tip. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Spire to Coles. Bad Gabe. Bad Pat McAfee lookalike. Be better. Two pitch from Spire to Coles. Jesus Christ. Goes into the dirt. Runner advances to second. I mean, can you at least get it into Cal's mitt? Christ. Now we got runners at second and third with 2 outs and a 3-2 count. And knowing Gabe, he'll probably walk this batter. What's the point of having lefties in the pen if they can't even get strikes? And he gives up another hit. And another run is coming home. 4-1 Cubs, all because of fucking Gabe Spire. Jesus. Boo. Boo this man. Nice job there by Coles getting a big RBI. Next up is Matt Shaw. And a 1-1 game can definitely turn sideways if you have a pitcher that comes in and shits the bed. And exactly what Gabe Spire did. He did it in the WBC twice. And what made you think that it was going to be any different here in spring training? We're going to need a few players to be able to step up offensively to make up for this blunder by Gabe Spire. How you doing, Andrea? Top of the 6th inning, Cubs up 4-1. I mean, we were tied 1-1 when Kirby was in, and then Gabe Spire comes in and gives up 3 runs. I mean, you might as well bring out Carlos Vargas if you're going to bring out Spire. Cal, throw to second. And that gets away from Rivas. And Coles is safe. 0-1 pitch from Spire. And fouls that one off, out of play. No balls and 2 strikes from Gabe Spire to Matt Shaw. Shit, maybe should have brought in Davila instead. 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. And that's out number 3, but not after he gave up 3 fucking runs. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th inning and let's see if we can get a little bit closer in this game. Vapor with a $20 dono. I appreciate you. Came up really big for us yesterday with 2 separate donos totaling 100. And obviously with the, vet visit that I have to do with Paisley, you're coming up as the MVP. And once you end up coming into the room, I had one spot open, for a mod. And for someone to be able to support when we really need it the most, you are a mod now. And congratulations to the new wrench by your name. I appreciate you. The wrench looks good on you, Vapor. Yeah, we're not getting to 20 runs today, but congratulations on the new wrench. You've earned it. We're at 25 on the dono train. 75 to go. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. Next up, 0 for 2 in the 3-hole, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Batting second, 2 for 2 with a run, it's Nails, first baseman Josh Naylor. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a K, left fielder Randy Arosarena. Appreciate you. Every dollar counts. 1-0 pitch from Martin to Julio. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike from Martin to Julio Rodriguez. We were tied at 1 with George Kirby, but then Gabe Spire comes in and pitches terribly. And again, I was mentioning before he gave up the home run, he would get 1 out and he gave up a home run in the WBC. Then 2 games later, he did it again, got 1 out, gave up a home run, maybe a little overconfident in the WBC. And what does he do here? He gets 1 out and then ends up giving up a home run to Dylan Carlson. So that's kind of his MO. And that's not a good MO to have, to have the reputation of only being able to get 1 out and then you end up shitting the bed after that. So hopefully that'll improve as we get to the regular season. As that ball goes out of play into the front row for a nice Seattle fan there in the right field area. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Rolando with a $20 holla. Thank you so much, man. Stacks, racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. Another $20 holla on the dono train. And that's how it goes. It all starts with one individual. Dank started it off with a $5. We ended up getting a 20 spot from Vapor. And then Rolando's jumping on the dono train as well. And again, I got a $440 vet bill. So again, that's not something that most people have, and I get it, things sometimes are challenging, through life and whatnot. But when you get people to be able to show some support and love for all the hard work that we put on the channel, it really does mean a lot. Big swing and a miss there from Julio, and that is 1 away. First pitch to Naylor. Takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Naylor is 2 for 2 with a run so far. Shout out to Vapor, shout out to Dank, shout out to Rolando. I appreciate you guys very, very much. And a slow dribbler there, throw to first. Routine play for the Cubbies, and that is 2 away. Down goes Naylor. And again, we're going to be putting in a lot of effort. I plan on doing 161 out of 162 games in the regular season and playoffs. And the only game I'm going to miss is going to be the game that I go to on the 4th of July versus the Blue Jays. So, no one is going to put in more time, effort, and energy to the Seattle Mariners on YouTube. And I appreciate you guys very, very much. Obviously, me being here on spring training games shows that effort. First pitch with the sweeper to Randy. Outside, 1-0 count. Shout out to Vapor. Shout out to Rolando. Shout out to Dank. I appreciate you 3. 1-0 pitch. Sinker, high and inside by Martin. 2 balls and no strikes to Randy Arosarena. Come on, Randy. 2-0 pitch. And that one is fouled behind the plate. 4-seam fastball there by Martin, 95 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th, 4-1, Chicago lead. 2-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking with the 4-seam fastball by Martin. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arosarena. Two-two pitch. High and inside with a 4-seam fastball. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Cubbies up 4-1 on the Mariners. Come on, Randy. 3-2 pitch. And that is strike 3 looking. Down goes Randy. And let's go to the top of the 7th inning and see who's up next here for Chicago. Next up for the Cubbies, 1 for 2 with a run and a base on ball, DHing Moises Ballesteros, who had a nice double off the wall in the first inning, and it ended up coming home with a Miguel Amaya RBI. Batting second, 1 for 3 in the 3-hole, catching today with an RBI, Miguel Amaya. And that gave them the 1-0 lead before we tied it up 1-1 with Josh Naylor. And batting third, 1 for 3, the former Dodger, Giant, and now Cub, right fielder Michael Conforto. And we're not going to see Gabe Spire, hopefully anymore, and hopefully not anytime in the near future. 0.2 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 K, and his ERA is 10.13. Not good. We need a better version of Gabe. And I'm curious to see if they're going to bring him back out again. I hope not, but I'm looking to see if they're making any updates, and it still says Gabe Spire, so we'll see. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. We're at 45, 55 to go to hit the goal. And we're going to the top of the 7th inning. Cubbies up 4-1. Oh, Randy Johnson number retirement ceremony on my birthday. Gained another sub since the commercial break. 83 subs away from 23,500. All right, Connor Joe coming in, getting some time. Filling in for Naylor. And they got Edward Bizzardo in the game, thank God. No more Gabe Spire. Our best bullpen player, Edward Bizzardo. Coming off that gold medal, beating Team USA, representing Team Venezuela. First pitch from Bizzardo, sinker in there for a strike. to Moises Ballesteros, 0-1 count. Bizardo on the mound, Ballesteros in the box. Come on, Eduardo. And Ballesteros pops up. And Julio is there in deep center field. And a nice grab there late. And that is one away. Nice job by Julio with that defensive play in center. Next up is Miguel Amaya. First pitch to Amaya, in there for a strike, high and inside with a sinker from Bizardo, 94 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, right down the middle for a strike. Gabe Spire, are you watching? No balls and 2 strikes to Miguel Amaya. And, Bizardo is the number 1 in the pen, Rash 2. And I don't even know if Gabe Spire is the 3rd best. I think that he's not going to be. There's going to be someone else that will step up. And again, I don't really trust, him or Vargas and a few of the others, but someone's got to be able to improve from last year. And we'll find out who it is. But we'll have to pay attention to Gabe Spire as a lefty, Jose Ferreira that we picked up in the Harry Ford trade. And, we know Carlos Vargas has got the, high heat, 97 to 100 miles an hour, but a lot of times he's kind of wild. Little slow dribbler to third, throw to first, and that is 2 away. Maybe Carlos Vargas will end up being the 3rd best, in the pen. Maybe he'll be a guy that could, improve. Again, he just needs to be able to, slow it down a little bit instead of just trying to throw until, his arm falls off, 97 to 100, maybe some off-speed pitches and get some control. And if he's able to master that, Vargas could be the top 3 guy in the pen. He could improve like Bizardo did last year, but that's if he does those type of pitches. And Conforto ends up fouling that one out of play towards that first base line. Sinker, 93 miles an hour by Eduard Bizardo. Top of the 7th inning, Cubbies up 4-1 with nobody on and 2 out. Bizardo on the mound, Conforto in the box. 0-1 pitch. And a hard hit ball there into center field. Julio, grab it. And that's going to be a stand-up double by Michael Conforto. The former Dodger gets it done. Next up, center fielder Kevin Alcantara. And there's going to be games where Gabe is going to be good. There's no doubt about that. He'll be able to, save a few games for us and get some clutch big outs. But I don't really like what I've seen from him in the WBC as well as here in limited action right before the beginning of the season. First pitch in there, big swing and a miss by Alcantara, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss again. Sweeper this time around by Bizardo. No balls and 2 strikes from Bizardo to Alcantara. It's also being able to have a number of different pitches that you're good at. Some guys have 5 or 6 pitches, that they can rotate with and usually have 1 or 2 that they're really good at, but some guys only have 3 or 4 and they may not be really good at any of them. Throw to first, and that is out number 3. Nice job there by Connor Joe and the defense. Bizardo gets us out of the inning. And again, now we have a little bit of work to try to catch up here in the bottom of the 7th. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Next up for the Mariners in the bottom of the 7th in the 7th inning stretch, 0 for 1 with a base on ball and a K. Coming over from the Boston Red Sox, DHing Rob Refsnyder. Batting second, 0 for 1 with a base on ball and a K. Right fielder filling in for Victor Robles today, Luke Raley. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a K, playing second base today, Ryan Bliss. Yeah, and again, he's been really working hard. He's an up-and-coming producer here in Oregon in the Pacific Northwest. I used to do phone sales with him for Verizon Business, and we've been buddies for a long time. And I've always tried to encourage him, to follow his dreams and goals. And again, it took him a while to have that belief in himself, and then he was able to upgrade equipment, slowly but surely. And again, I've been able to support him with some of the upgrades and things that he needed for sounds and whatnot. And extremely creative guy. And out of the 15 or 20 people that I've worked with in sales over the last few years, before I started doing this full time a few years ago, definitely the most talented individual in my friend group. And again, he's pumped out over 110, beats in the last 3 to 4 months. So, and again, anybody can make a beat, but is it a good beat? And again, he's got a few artists that he's working with in the Pacific Northwest, and I will continue to support him as well as he supports myself. One ball and one strike to Rob Refsnyder. 1-1 pitch from Taylor. Big swing and a miss from Rob. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Taylor to Refsnyder. And he's got a lot of other beats that maybe really aren't sport related, that are really, really good, but they just don't kind of fit the vibe of the stream. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Refsnyder, and that is 1 away. But I try to kind of hand pick, certain ones that I think that would sound good, on the channel and whatnot. And I mean, he's got a hell of a lot of others that are amazing as well. Next up for the Mariners is Luke Raley. First pitch to Luke Raley, slider high and inside, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, and that hits Luke Raley in the arm, and that will be a walk. Hopefully he's okay. And Luke ends up hustling to first base. That's one thing I really enjoy about him, always hustling, always with the positive attitude. Next up, second baseman in the 8-hole, Ryan Bliss. Let's see if Bliss can get on board. Come on, Ryan. First pitch from Taylor to Bliss, and Bliss almost gets blasted in the knee. Has to jump out of the way. Low and inside, 1-0 count. Come on, Ryan. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike from Taylor to Bliss. One pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ryan Bliss. Two-one pitch, hard hit ball, double play attempt, throw to first, and got it. And down go the Mariners there in the bottom of the 7th. Let's go to the top of the 8th and see who's up next here for the Cubs. Let him know. All right, looks like they're going to go with La Espinosa, Jonathan Long, and I believe Owen Miller. See if I can find an Espinosa photo. Doesn't look like there really is a quality one for Leonel Espinosa. I'm trying to find one here. Cal Raleigh, 60 home run bobblehead night on March 28th against the Guardians. I'm not going to be able to go to that game, but man, that is a nice bobble. Would love to have that. Might have to look around later in the season for that, for a deal on eBay at one point or another. Nice looking bobblehead for Cal. Usually when I go to a game, that's usually the type of thing I'm looking for, either a hat or a bobblehead, something that's, going to be worthwhile. First pitch to Zuleta, the Espinosa fouls it off. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouls that one behind the plate. Zuleta on the mound for the Mariners, Espinosa in the box for Chicago. Top of the 8th, Cubs up 4-1 on Seattle. And we are going to be live tomorrow with Brian Wu on the mound against the White Sox at 6 o'clock Pacific. Looking forward to that. And that'll be the last televised Mariners stream until we get to Thursday. So we'll be doing White Sox Mariners with Brian Wu. Nothing on Monday or Tuesday. Wednesday, we'll do the season opener on Netflix between the Giants and the Yankees here on the stream. And then Thursday will be the big day, Guardians and Mariners in the season opener. And a hard hit ball towards that right field line. And he's trying to go for 2. And Espinosa with a stand-up double. Nice hit there. Next up is first baseman Jonathan Long. On deck for Chicago, second baseman Owen Miller. First pitch to Jonathan Long in there for a strike. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss by Jonathan Long. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and no outs. Top of the 8th inning, Cubbies up 4-1 on the Mariners. And if we had anybody come in but Gabe Spire, maybe we would be tied at 1-1 at this point. So 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jonathan Long. But again, if Carlos Vargas would have came in, he probably would have done the same thing for a righty as well. So shows you really how important it is, to have a quality pen. It's always every MLB team's biggest weakness is bullpen pitching. You can be tied at 1 for a good chunk of the game, and all it takes is one bad pitcher in a matter of 5 minutes to erase everything that you earned in those, first 6, 7, 8 innings. Pitch fouled off there by Jonathan Long. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at second and no outs. Come on, Mariners, finish strong. 1-2 pitch, and that is fouled behind the plate. Count still remains 1 ball and 2 strikes from Zuleta to Jonathan Long. On deck is Owen Miller. One-two pitch, hard hit ball, gets past Ryan Bliss, and he just is too small, can't make plays, and again, he's just not good enough to be on the roster. He's a AAA player at best. Leo Rivas, much better. JP Crawford, much better. Cole Young, much better. Colt Emerson, much better. He's just kind of too undersized. Not a good enough hitter. Not a good enough defender. He's just going to be a AAA guy. Unless eventually he ends up moving on from the Mariners. Next up is Owen Miller. Whoa! First pitch almost hits Miller in the head, and runner advances from second to third. Holy cow. Zuleta looking wild like Carlos Vargas. And that ball almost gets him in the head. If he doesn't, lean backwards, he does get hit in the head with that pitch there. Calm down, Zuleta. Jesus. Espinoza to third on that wild pitch by Zuleta. 1-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss with that slider to recover after almost hitting Owen Miller in the head on the previous pitch. 1-1 strike with runners at second and third and no outs. Cubs up 4-1 on the Mariners. And that one goes to the backstop, and luckily the runner doesn't challenge and come in. Again, when it's spring training and you end up having guys come in the 8th and the 9th inning, a lot of times it's just, farm guys, prospects. They're not guys that are on the team per se. So some guys do okay. Some guys, do pretty good and take advantage of the moment. But a lot of times, you get guys that just aren't good, and are a little wild. And unfortunately, that's what we're getting here. 2-1 pitch, low and away. Count now is 3-1 strike from Zuleta to Owen Miller. Three-one pitch, and that will be a 5-pitch walk. Bases loaded with no outs. And again, it's one thing when you have players that you're supposed to trust, like Bizzardo and Brash and Spire, and then you got guys, like Legomina and Carlos Vargas, where you don't have a whole lot of faith. And then you get these guys where they're, just as bad, if not worse, than the guys that you don't trust that are on the team. And now we're in a real serious jam here with bases loaded and no outs. Next up, 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a K, Ben Coles. First pitch in there for a strike, swinging. Sinker, 96 miles an hour by Zuleta, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, popped up. And we can't even make a play. He ends up getting blooped into right field. Another run will come home. And that is 5-1 Chicago. Espinoza scored. Miller to second, Long to third. Yeah, that's why it's probably smart not to be betting on spring training games, because just, it could be low scoring, for 6-7 innings and have it be 1-1. And then all it takes is a couple pitchers just to, have the game get kind of out of hand. Next up is Halbach coming in here late. I mean, it's not an easy thing, to be able to predict, even if you're, pretty familiar. But again, if you don't know who's going to be playing and coming in, it definitely is the X factor, especially with a lot of the bets. Pitch is low and away from Zuleta. 2 balls and no strikes from Zuleta to Halbach. Top of the 8th inning with bases loaded and no outs. And again, we ended up putting up a 20 spot on the Guardians yesterday. But again, today, the story of the bullpen not doing their job. And again, hopefully we'll be better tomorrow with Brian Wu on the mound against the Chicago White Sox. $11 more to 50. Let's get there, baby. And again, a lot of these guys that you end up seeing late in games aren't guys that are on the team. They're just getting a little bit of time to play, to see if they can make a spot, either in the organization, high A, double A, single A, AAA, or possibly make, a farm team on another team if they end up getting cut as we go to the regular season. So, but all of this started, with Gabe Spire, who normally is known as our third best guy in the pen. And again, the same type of things that happened to him in the WBC happened again here. Got one out, gave up a home run. And then 2 days later, got an out, gave up a home run in the WBC. Talked about it here on the channel. And what does he do? Gets one out, gives up a home run, and gave up multiple hits after that. And now the game is getting a little away from us. 2-1 pitch, another hard hit ball, another RBI. Ay, ay, ay. And now it's 7-1 Cubbies. Nice base knock there by Halbach. And now Dan Wilson coming out and saying, guess what, Zaletta? Hit the showers. You're terrible. And it shows you how hard baseball really is. Not only hitting wise, but pitching wise. A lot of these guys, have the talent, to get into the farm system or to make a big league club. But once you make it, can you stay on the big league club? And again, some guys are just raw, and they might have the top end speed, but no control. And, again, it was 1-1 just a few minutes ago, but now 7-1 Cubs. Next up for Chicago, 1 for 3 with a run and a base on ball. Had a beautiful double off the wall in the first inning. Moises Balestros. Can't win them all. But we got Brian Wu on the mound tomorrow against the White Sox at 6 o'clock Pacific. So we'll be doing that. No televised game on Monday or Tuesday, so we probably won't be doing anything on the channel. I'll spend some time with the pup. Wednesday, we'll end up doing the Yankees and the Giants. Normally, I wouldn't do that game, but since it's going to be the only game and the first game of the regular season, and it's on Netflix, I got nothing, better to do, and we're already going to have 2 days off, so I need to grind. So we'll do that on Wednesday, and I'll be able to keep an eye on the Giants and the Yankees and Aaron Judge and seeing what he does. And then the magical day, the day that we've been waiting for months and months and months, is finally around the corner. Thursday, Guardians, Mariners, T-Mobile be here. And again, we'll be doing every single game the rest of the season besides the 4th of July, where I will be at T-Mobile versus the Blue Jays. Very excited about the regular season. We should be one of the best teams in the American League and in baseball overall. I assume the Blue Jays will be good. Yankees will be good. Mariners will be good. And there'll be a few other teams. Tigers will be good. And then we'll see how the Guardians look and the Astros. It'll definitely be very competitive in the American League, but there should be a good, chance for us to be definitely a top 3 team. And who knows, we might end up being the best team in the American League. There's a chance, as long as our pitchers stay healthy, which we ended up having 4 out of 5 get hurt in the starting rotation, everyone but Castillo. So, and right now we already have Bryce Miller with a minor injury and JP Crawford. So hopefully injuries will be kinder to us in 2026. Michael Rucker on the mound now. And here we go, double play. And there we go, finally a double play. We had 2 of them early in the game, which was great. But now we got a runner at third with 2 outs. Connor in the building, what's good? First pitch to Rucker. High and away with the sinker. One-0 pitch to Opitz. Strike right down the middle with the curveball by Michael Rucker for Seattle. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at third and 2 outs. Nice curveball there by Rucker. Top of the 8th inning, 7-1 Cubbies with a runner at third and 2 outs. Big swing and a miss there by Opitz. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at third and 2 outs. We're into the top of the 8th, 7-1 Chicago. And it was 1-1 a few innings ago in the 6th, but Gabe Spire ended up giving up 3, and it's kind of been downhill since then. But I think we will respond tomorrow with Wu on the mound in the White Sox. Pitches low and at the knees by Rucker. Slider 88 miles an hour, missing by an inch. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at third and 2 outs. Let him know. 2-2 pitch, high and away. Count now is full to Opitz. 3 balls, 2 strikes, runner at third and 2 outs. And it would be nice if that runner at third can stay there. But, pitching has been a little rough here in these last few innings. 3-2 pitch, hard hit ball towards third base and foul. Count still remains full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, runner at third and 2 outs. Cubs up 7-1 here in the top of the 8th. And we're going to get a lot of, OG Mariner fans, not only from last season, but also people that, watched NFL, college football streams and other things that I've done on the channel. There really isn't anything that I'm uncomfortable doing. We've pretty much done everything: basketball, baseball, football, hockey, wrestling, NASCAR, boxing, UFC, you name it, we've done it. But I think my favorite things to do are definitely, Mariner baseball and the NFL and college football. Big swing and a miss by Opitz, and somehow, some way, we leave that runner stranded at third. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th, and let's at least try to get to fucking 2 before this one is over. And let's see who's up next here for Seattle. Next up for the Mariners, leading off, Leo Rivas. Batting second, farm prospect Josh Hood. I don't have a photo, on standby, but let's see if I can find one here quickly. It's always good to match a name to a face. That's really what separates us from a lot of the other streamers that are out there. All right, so Rivas leading off. Josh Hood, one of the farm prospects, batting second. And batting third, it's a familiar face, the best catcher in the game. 1 for 3, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Would be really sweet if Cal could hit a home run, even though we're going to lose this game, more than likely, right, down 6 runs. But, it would be nice for him to be able to do something spectacular at the end of this game. Something crack a little bit of a smile after what Gabe Spire kind of put us in this position. Oh, baby. Guardians. I can't wait. First pitch to Leo Rivas is high and away. So we got Guardians with a 4-game set, the Yankees a 3-game set, Angels 3-game set, Rangers 3-game set, and then 2 games there on the calendar that they showed against the Astros. So we're going to get some good rivalry matchups. Astros are rivals, Yankees are rivals in the American League. And again, it's going to be very spicy going into 2026. Taylor on the mound, Rivas in the box. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss by Leo. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Leo Rivas. Come on, Leo. Should have been there on the roster last year over Dylan Moore. They ended up adding him to the roster late, but imagine how many more wins we would have had if Rivas was on the team at the beginning instead of Dylan Moore. Game day in the building. What's good? How are you? Pitch fouled off by Rivas. Bottom of the 8th. Cubbies up 7-1. Taylor on the mound. Leo Rivas in the box. 1-2 pitch. Rivas crushes that one out of play. Taylor on the mound, Leo Rivas in the box. And Leo's got a chance to start at shortstop for J.P. Crawford if he's not ready, by opening day. And Cole Young, can play shortstop or second as well. And then obviously Colt Emerson got designated to AAA today. So we're going to have to wait, possibly a few weeks to a few months, depending on how others play. I was really rooting for Colt Emerson to make the opening day squad, but we have enough depth for him to, get a few more reps for the Tacoma Rainiers before we call him up. And then we can make a moment out of it with his family and whatnot and on social media. So pitch is low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Leo Rivas. And that ends up being low and at the knees, and that'll be a walk. Leo Rivas to first. Next up, farm prospect for the Seattle Mariners, Josh Hood. On deck will be the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. First pitch to Hood, slider, outside. 1-0 count. That's tough to say. It really just depends on who comes in pitching-wise for both of these teams. So, 1-0 pitch, and a hard hit ball. Throw to first, and a nice hustle by Josh Hood. That's the type of effort that I like to see. This guy isn't going to make the team. This is like probably his only at-bat he's going to have, and he ends up making the most of it. Nice job by Josh Hood. Now we got runners at first and second with no outs. And guess who? It's the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go. A 3-run blast would really make my night here. I get it, we're going to lose the game, but if we can lose 7-4 and get a 3-run blast by Cal, he's so overdue. He didn't really get a whole lot of looks in the WBC. He struggled. Bryce Harper struggled. There was a number of players that struggled in the WBC, and obviously catching with Will Smith. They went with Will Smith in back-to-back games at the end of the season for the WBC and Team USA. And Cal didn't really get a whole lot of good pitches to swing at. And again, hopefully the rhythm and the chemistry will be able to start here as we go into the White Sox tomorrow and then opening day on Thursday against the Guardians. 1-0 pitch. Cal, batting right-handed, pops it up. And that is 1 away. No home run for Cal, unfortunately. That would have been nice if he was able to do it, though. But he definitely looks like he's seeing the ball better here on the Mariners than obviously in that WBC tournament when you're facing pitchers that you've never seen before. But you could say the same thing here in spring training. Sometimes you're going to see guys you've never seen before. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, J-Rod. 3-run homer by J-Rod. He had a 2-run blast yesterday. Cole Young had 2 home runs. Julio had a 2-run blast. Victor Robles had a 3-run blast. And then Dominic Canzone had a grand salami. So we put up 20 yesterday and ended up beating the Guardians. And not the same story here today, but 7 runs, 15 hits, 2 errors for the Cubs. 1 run, 5 hits, no errors for Seattle. And I think what will be better tomorrow. Julio is 0 for 3 with a K. Let's make it 1 for 4 with an RBI or possibly a home run. Let's go, J-Rod. Try dance up. Let's go, Julio. All right, we're just waiting for the commercial break to end here, and hopefully we'll get a little bit of magic out of the best center fielder in the game, Julio Rodriguez. Bottom of the 8th inning, runners at first and second with 1 out. Cubs up 7-1. Can we get on a slight rally here in the bottom of the 8th? I sure as hell hope so. All right, another pitching change here for Chicago for Julio Rodriguez. It's Riley coming in. Come on, Julio. And Julio starting fast in the first half of the season has never been done in his career yet. Could this be the year that he starts fast? I sure as hell hope so. And a first pitch, hard hit ball, flip to second, throw to first, double play, and that is the end of the Mariners. Unfortunately, Julio hitting into the double play. All right, let's go to the top of the 9th inning and see who's up next here for Chicago. I guess when it rains, it pours. You know, after Gabe Spire came in, not a whole lot going on for Seattle. All right, now they got all backups in here in the top of the 9th. They got Delgado, Lovich, and Espinosa coming in here for the Cubbies. Yeah, and it looks like it would be Connor Joe, Davis, and maybe Ref Snyder. So it is possible that the score will end 7-1. But again, you know, a lot of the players that will be hitting, you know, don't look like they're the greatest hitters. And then also we don't really know what type of pitching that we're going to get as well. Because again, even if the hitters are kind of crappy, the pitchers might be worse. So we'll have to kind of wait and see on how this will progress. But I think you got a pretty good chance for this game to end 7-1 still. But again, that all really depends on the pitching, you know, for the Cubbies in Seattle in the 9th here. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Great environment for the kids there in spring training. Seven games, 4 for 15. Miles Mastroboni, another guy that can play multiple positions for us. Wilcox on the mound. Delgado in the box. First pitch is high and inside, 1-0 count. Top of the 9th inning, Cubbies up 7-1. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike to Wilcox from Delgado. 1-1 pitch, sinker, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Wilcox to Delgado. 2-1 pitch, and a hard hit ball there by Delgado, fading out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. We're in the top of the 9th inning. Mariners down by 6, 7-1, Cubs lead. Two-two pitch. High and away. Doesn't get the call with that slider. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Wilcox to Delgado. And Delgado strikes out looking, and that is 1 away. First pitch, fouls that one off towards that first base line, 0-1 count. Wilcox on the mound, Lovich in the box. And again, when you see a lot of these guys that are in the 8th and the 9th inning, I mean, these guys are the backup to the backup to the backups. I mean, a lot of, you know, farm guys and low-end talent. 0-1 pitch. Fouls it off himself with the slider from Wilcox. No balls and 2 strikes from Wilcox to Lovich. Come on, Cole. We'll be live tomorrow at 6 o'clock Pacific with Brian Wu on the mound going against the Chicago White Sox. Looking forward to that. 0-2 pitch. Low and inside with the sinker, 90 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Wilcox to Lovich. Top of the 9th inning, Cubbies up 7-1. 1-2 pitch. High and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Wilcox to Lovich. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 2-2 pitch. And that is strike 3 looking. There we go. Nice punch out by Wilcox. 2 away. 1 more out here for the Mariners to get. And then obviously we'll see if they can get anything in the bottom of the 9th. They don't really have the best options in the bottom of the 9th, but we'll see if there's anything that can happen. A little bit of magic late. Espinosa on the first pitch pops it up. Should be a routine play here. And that is out number 3. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 9th inning. And we'll see if the Mariners can get any hits or runs here. All right, so we got Connor Joe, we got Davis, and Rob Refsnyder. So there's a pretty good chance that this game is going to end 7-1, realistically. Next up for the Mariners will be Connor Joe, then Davis, and then last potential individual for the Seattle Mariners, formerly of the Boston Red Sox, 0 for 2 with a base on ball and 2 Ks, Rob Refsnyder. All right, here we go. Last opportunity for the Mariners to try to get a few clutch hits. Bottom of the 9th inning, Mariners down by 6. And again, we got a game tomorrow at 6 o'clock Pacific, which is fantastic. Much better than the game being on at noon, which it was originally. But the heat wave in Arizona has been able to push those games late. 3 straight 6 p.m. starts. 6:05, 6:10, in that general range. And, I like having those evening games rather than early afternoon. So first pitch to Connor Joe, high and away with a 4-seam fastball, 1-0 count. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Riley on the mound, Joe in the box. 1-0 pitch. Hard hit ball towards third base and foul. 1 ball and 1 strike to Connor Joe. Let's go, Connor. 1-1 pitch from Riley. High and inside, almost hits Joe on the wrist. 2 balls and 1 strike. They called that a strike? Oh, it looks like he got a little piece of it. I was about to say. Just a piece of the bat nicked it. So that's a foul ball. He got very close to hitting him. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 9th inning. Cubs up 7-1. And again, the game was 1-1 in the 6th before Gabe Spire came in, gave up 3. And then we gave up another 3 in the 8th, and that's where we're sitting right now. 1-2 pitch to Joe, and that is strike 3 looking. And that is 1 away. Yo, Joe, the real American hero, baby. G.I. Joe, one of my favorite cartoons of all time. I mean, when you grow up with G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Ninja Turtles, I still watch those to this very day, as well as Batman, the animated series, and X-Men that came out in the early 90s as well. Those were the best 5 cartoons that were out. Those 3 in the 80s, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then X-Men and Batman, the animated series. Facts. First pitch to Davis, in there for a strike swinging, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, inside at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Riley to Davis. One pitch, and that one's fouled off, out of play. Plus, I'm a huge collector, too. I've been collecting since I've been about 5 years old, so a lot of toys, a lot of cards, a lot of memorabilia. And again, if you grew up in the 80s and early 90s, you know what that's about. 1-2 pitch. Low and away from Riley there. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Davis. We got Brian Wu on the mound tomorrow against the White Sox. 2-2 pitch, high and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Riley to Davis. On deck is Rob Refsnyder, unless they have someone pinch hit for him late. Not the way that I wanted the game to end, but again, it is spring training. Rather it be an L in spring training rather than a game that actually counts and lose this way. So, pitch is fouled behind the plate by Davis. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Three-two pitch. Big swing and a miss, and down he goes, and that is 2 away. All right, last but not least, 6-hole hitter Rob Refsnyder. And again, he doesn't really do very good against righties. He does really good against lefties, and hasn't really had a very good hitting day today, so I assume that this game will end with a 7-1 final. I'd be shocked if Refsnyder, hits a home run here. First pitch, in there for a strike to Refsnyder, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks and a walk, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch from Riley. Check swing. Did he go? He did not. Cutter, 90 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike to Rob Refsnyder. Nine homers, 30 ribbies in limited time for the Red Sox last season. 269 average. Big swing and a miss by Refsnyder. Sinker, 96 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Riley to Refsnyder. 1 more strike for you. Come on, Rob. One-two pitch. Slow dribbler towards third base and foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Cubs up 7-1 here in the bottom of the 9th. And we got the White Sox tomorrow with Brian Wu on the mound. And I will be live for that tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific. Be here. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, and that is the ball game. I told you we would finish at a 7-1 game, based on who we had coming up, as well as Chicago. Again, not the greatest opportunities for Seattle to be able to take advantage of. And again, hopefully Gabe Spire will be better, as we move closer to the regular season. Final score, Chicago Cubs 7, Seattle Mariners 1. And I got one question for you. Who talks sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Special shout out to Vapor, Dank, and Rolando for coming up big on the Dono train. Appreciate you guys very much. Welcome back to some of the individuals that have been gone for a minute. And we will be doing Seattle Mariner baseball every day here momentarily. Love you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday night. And I will be live tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific between the White Sox and the Mariners with Brian Wu on the mound. And I got one question for you. Who you know talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Vapor, you're the MVP, and I am out. Okay.